we on? Hey, it's Michael De Silva's Preacher's Corner segment today. You know, it's a long, hot summer, isn't it? Wondering, kids get bored and they want to fight with one another. I know I used to be that way. We all were like that, one time. But I want to say something to you about peer pressure, doing the right thing. We did that a few minutes ago. We're going to do it again. But this time it's going to be taped. I want to say two things about peer pressure. There's negative peer pressure and there's positive peer pressure. And what I mean by that is like when you're learning from the Bible, you'll get criticized as a Christian from your fellow peers, maybe even from your fellow students that are in your classroom. That's your peers, in case you don't know what that is. People that are in your age group will criticize you on things that you need to improve on. Now, are they doing that to make fun of you? No. They're trying to make you and build you into a better character than what you are today. So that's called constructive criticism. Now, people that have controlling issues don't like constructive criticism. But, if they would listen, they would probably make them a better person and make them not have to feel like they have to be in control over other people. Because they would feel more secure about themselves, and therefore they wouldn't have to inflict or feel like they have to be powered over others. So they can learn a lot too. But of course, a lot of people that are controlling are not really favoritism to criticism. That's according to studies that we get from psychology and things. And it's true. That's just the way they are. They don't want to listen. They're so quick to pull out everybody else's flaw, but they won't look at their own. And their own is because of their lack of security in their life. And they feel like by having power over others, that gives them it. But back to negative and positive peer pressure. When you go to school, there's a lot of things that will come and tempt you. It's just like I was talking with a teenager the other day. The biggest thing that was like when I was in school is sex, or if you're a virgin or not, or, if you have a girlfriend. And really all those things matter, but not when you're in high school. This is how I would approach this. If a guy comes up to you out of the blue, it's usually a bully, which is a controlling person. He'll come up to you and say, "Are you a virgin? Tell me, are you a virgin?" In the locker room, they usually do this, or in the hallway. And the whole thing, what they want you to do is they want you to tell them, yeah, you're a virgin or you're not a virgin. And either way, they'll try to smear your reputation all over school. So the way you approach that answer if you're a teenager is when they ask you that question, whether you're a girl or if you're a young gentleman or a young lady, you just say no. You just don't answer it. Don't even act like you didn't even hear it and walk away. And of course, they'll go around spouting off and saying you're not a virgin because you didn't answer the question. You're still not a virgin. But it really doesn't matter because even if you are a virgin, it's none of their business. So how you respond to that is just don't even answer it. Don't even entertain it. Just walk the other way. Because if you fall into that trap, you're going to be made fun of. Trust me. And if you're a girl, a young lady, this can be very devastating to you. Because most girls it is. So don't fall for those traps. It's just like you don't have to have sex to be popular or important in the eyes of God, because that's not godly. You don't have to, be not a virgin either to be popular. You can be a virgin and still be popular. You can not have sex and still be popular. Okay? Now, of course, the stereotype is in school it's the other way around, because they think it's popular. But actually it's a direct sin and a violation in God's eyes. So you don't want to you don't want to get a sore eye in God's eyes. So the best way to go around that is just don't even entertain the foolishness of a fool. Don't delight in the fool's quarrel. And that's what Psalm says. Because those will be the biggest fools. So if you don't react to it, you just walk away, act like you didn't hear it. They can say whatever they want. It doesn't matter because they got to do that anyway because they're trying to entrap you and trying to get you things stirred up. They'll be the biggest fool because you never heard them anyway. So even if you did, it doesn't matter. Just don't respond to it. And it will quickly go away as quickly as it started. Trust me. See, because a lot of people that are bullies tend to always look out for the weaker links. And that's what controlling people do. And then they will go to that person and they'll pick on your flaws. And that might be one of them, what they think is one of them. But really, they don't know. They don't know anything about you. Some people say they don't know jack about you. But they don't. But they'll just find that because they think you're weak in that area, or they feel like they have to bring it to light, like they have to teach you some kind of lesson. There's a lot of controlling people who are like that. So just don't allow, because that's what's really going on here. Just don't allow that. Now, positive pressure is like when you do the right thing when everybody's doing the wrong thing. Like what we were talking about, the sex, losing your virginity, those things are wrong. Okay, but when you do the right thing is when you don't do those things, don't engage in those things. Instead of following somebody that's doing the wrong thing to go to hell, like say, would you jump off a bridge in your bathing suit? It's a 100-foot bridge. Evidently you wouldn't, right? Because you would die. Because you're not trained as a diver and you don't have the experience to jump off that bridge, right? So what you want to do is you need to use common sense. And you say, well, of course you wouldn't jump off that bridge. Well, the same is true for the things that you hear going on in school, like drugs. It may be another thing. That's another big thing. Pressuring you to do drugs and to drink alcohol. That's the cool thing. That's what the trendy people do. Yeah, the trendy people do that. And a lot of them end up dead or locked up too. So you got to think, is it worth losing your freedom and losing your standing with God to do something like that? When you stand up in the midst of opposition of people doing evil in the sight of the Lord, and you do the right thing as a Christian, that makes you a hero for Jesus. And when you do that, by doing that, it makes other people do the same. It's like contagious. And it may be at first where you seem like you're all alone, but really you're not. Because God is there with you. And even though you don't see him there physically, he's there with you supernaturally. And he'll guide you through the trials and the tribulations of being an adolescent or being a young adult through your early adult, college age youth and development. And the thing is, by doing that, all those things, the sex and everything, that has its proper place. Losing your virginity has its proper place when you do it by the right means, like getting married. And you get married and you're in matrimony with God, and then you can do those things and it won't be defiled, meaning sinful. But it will be just because you did it the right way. See? So all those things have their proper role and place, and also vocation when that time in your life comes. But it has to be done properly. By getting married, sustaining from it until you do get married, I think that's good. And I think that's what we need to do as young people, is do that. Because a lot of people today think that, hey, if I go to bed with this person and I get them pregnant, I'm going to be the popularest person in school. But actually, they may think that. But you know what? In the end, they're not going to be popular, because they're going to ruin their whole youth, because they'll be taking care of a baby. They won't be able to go out and hang out with their friends because the baby's going to need you. And you're not going to be having the same friends, because those friends you had when you got pregnant, you won't have. Trust me. So don't fall for that. Popularity, if it costs you your Christianity, is not worth it. So do what God says, and you'll be more popular in the kingdom of God by doing the right thing instead of selling yourself off short by giving into these worldly temptations that are around you. So think about that today. And when you're out there, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. That's Romans what? Romans what? 2:28? Or Romans 1:20, I think. But I'm not sure about that, but I did quote the scripture word for word. But I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Or in some translations it says, he strengthens me. And that doesn't mean some or little. It means all. Everything, essentially, everything. So when you think about that, when you're doing the right thing versus what everybody else is doing wrong, think about this so you can be a good vessel and ambassador for the Lord to do his work for his will and glory, and not for the appeasement of other people that are around you, and men and pure pressure, and just to try to appease them. You need to appease God, not your peers, because your peers don't matter. It's what God says, and what God's judgment is final, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter what any of these other people say around you, even if they got some influence through reputation or anything. It does not matter. But what God says is always, kids, final. So always remember that. This is Preacher Corner, Michael DeSilva, talking about good peer pressure versus bad peer pressure. Hope this helps some of you, or a lot of you. I love you. Take care. See you later.